I'm gonna wear my glasses in this video. Feel free to give me all sorts of glasses critiques down in the comments, guys. I'm like weirdly nervous about this. Hi everybody and welcome back to my show. So excited to have you here today. Today I want to talk about why I think creatives and artists should take more advantage of careers in tech, whether it's working for a tech company or creating art and whatnot, specifically for the internet or the tech world. I specifically wanted to talk about this because as somebody who, was a film major in college, took a whole lot of theater classes, and was almost a fine arts major before I dropped it because I got in a fight with a professor. It's fine, it's normal. I was right. He was terrible and left the school after, so it all worked out 100%. But for a lot of my education when it came into the arts, especially among professors and among my peers, there was always kind of this talk about almost like sacrifice. Like, remember that if you are a true artist, you have to sacrifice everything. Like, you can't have super stable relationships because it's good for your art to like be in and out of relationships. That's a big theater thing and I do not recommend. You're not going to be making any money, so this is how you can like save money as much as possible. There was so much of a focus on making true art, which true art, what does that even mean? It was so strange, and especially like going to a 4-year liberal arts college that costs like a lot of dollar bills, telling me that like, oh, this is what you should be expecting, is to like never make any money, basically. And on one hand, I get that because, you have that conversation of an artwork, like a true masterpiece because it was created for profit, or is it a true masterpiece if it was created just for the self? I get that. There's a lot of stuff there. There's stuff that you make art for yourself versus art for others. But at the same time, I very passionately feel that right now, we are living in an incredible time for artists, especially if you are an artist online, whether it's selling things on Etsy or other platforms, whether it's making TikToks and blowing up for like all sorts of different reasons. It's so easy to video edit on TikTok. Oh my God, you guys. I have been video editing since I was 10 years old. And as a 30-year-old, that's a long time. I've been video editing for 20 years. I've never seen a system where it's so easy to edit as TikTok's system. It's truly remarkable, and it's democratized, the art of filmmaking so much. I find it absolutely fascinating. There's so many opportunities when it comes to being able to sell t-shirts, coming up with a funny phrase or like a really cool design and putting it on a t-shirt. It's never been easier or cheaper to do such a thing, and it's not that hard to do. It just takes a little bit of know-how, a little bit of confidence in yourself, and just like a few key skills when it comes to marketing and business and stuff like that to make sure you're profitable. I also firmly believe that the tech industry itself is a great place for artists, whether it's a startup or a big, FANG company. I think there is so much room in these companies for creative individuals who are willing to try new things, build new things, whether it's becoming a literal UX designer or becoming a freaking product manager. Product managers, I don't know if people really know what this job is, but product managers are people, sometimes they're technical, sometimes they're not, are people who lead teams to design what a website or an app is going to look like. All you need to do is be a pretty good communicator, have a little bit of business know-how, understand how these types of systems work, and people make so much money doing this. You can be a non-technical product manager and make hundreds of thousands of dollars a year, and it's an incredibly creative job. And if you're at a company that you love with a team that you love, it can be a wonderful fit for a creative individual. There's so much opportunity and there's a lot of money, and not that money is the most important thing in the world. But I think, we train our young artists to think that they aren't worth anything. We train them to believe that they aren't going to make money, so they shouldn't plan on it. You know, I graduated from college and I was like, I'm going to be a starving artist. I'm going to be a filmmaker, a comedian, blah, 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 blah. And I got into the real world and I started making incredible content. You know, maybe not the best in the world, but like really top-notch stuff. And I couldn't figure out how to make money. I couldn't figure out how to pay my bills in New York. I couldn't figure out what to do with it. And the reality is, if I had started something like this on YouTube, but maybe make it funny or something back in 2014 and just stuck with it, my God, can you imagine? Can you imagine if this channel had been around for 7 years? If I had made videos every single week, the amount of opportunity in technology is incredible. It is incredible. And I don't know that people really recognize it. And I think creatives in particular are going to be in a phenomenal position to take advantage of what's out there. Whether it's, you know, becoming a TikTok celeb. You don't even need to be a massive celebrity. You can have a small following of just a few thousand people. But if you've got, you know, there's a concept, I don't know what it's called, but it's basically if you have 1,000 dedicated fans, you could have a solid financial stability for life with, you know, selling products or getting them to help pay for content on Patreon or Google AdSense or whatever, even having 1,000 dedicated people. And you know, that puts it into perspective, because I think a lot of people think, oh, the only way that you're going to succeed on something like YouTube or TikTok or whatever is if you have millions of followers. But there are plenty of people who have 200,000 followers who are making a perfectly wonderful salary and are able to do it full time, and they're doing exactly what they love. You know, there is so much opportunity. And if you are somebody who is intensely creative, and if you are somebody who is really inspired by the tech industry or is incredibly passionate about the arts, but are so concerned that being an actor in a community theater setting is not going to, you know, put food on the table and you're going to have to do a job you hate, you know, I think there is so much more hope. I think there is so much more that people can explore, and I firmly believe that people should give it a shot. A lot of what I talk to younger artists about is make sure you understand how business works. If you are trying to sell something or something like that, you want to make sure that the item, at the very minimum, how much did it cost to make that item is the first step, right? And then how much time did you put in to make that item? And that is the flexible part, right? And that is where you try to decide what your value is, what your worth is. And you know, you can change that bit as much as you want. You could start really small if you want to be really like at a discounted rate, or if you have a super inflated ego, or if you already have like a ton of followers or something like that, you could make that part of your fee be astronomically high if you think that there are people who will buy it. The only thing that matters is if people will buy it. And I know that is such an intimidating thing, and I still haven't even quite done that yet when it comes to selling a product and whatnot. But I have been in the position where I've sat next to a painting of mine, where I've sat next to a piece of writing of mine, or, you know, trying to make a t-shirt to sell online, where I'm like, I don't know what I'm worth, so I'm only going to charge like $2 more than what it costs to actually make the thing, and so my profit is only $2. You know, you have to think about what are you worth, and not only that, but what do you need to survive? It's very simple math. If you can figure out, this is how much my bills are, this is how much my food costs, this is how much I want to have just like flexible spending, and then this is how much I want to save every month. Figure that out, and then do some math. Figure out how many t-shirts you need to sell at what price to get you to that number. That's how you should be thinking about it. That is really basic, easy math that you guys have done since elementary school. You can do it. If you're trying to sell something on Etsy, if you're trying to whatever, make sure to keep in mind that those systems will typically take a percentage. So put that into your calculations. And if you need help, find your favorite math buddy. I know you have one. I know I've had quite a few math buddies in my life. My current one is my husband, Dave. I will say math problems out loud and he will just tell me the answer. It is a marvelous thing. I love it. And if I'm ever confused, I just tell him, hey, please fix this. And he does it. I know you have a math buddy in your life. If you don't, I don't know what to tell you. I'm sure you can find one, maybe post on Facebook or Instagram and say, hi, I need a math buddy. Can someone please be my math buddy? I spent a lot of time in my youth thinking I couldn't work at a startup. I couldn't work at a tech company. I couldn't work in finance. I couldn't work in business. I couldn't work in any of these industries because I was bad at math. And the reality is there are so many jobs that you can do in all of those places and be terrible at math. And that is okay. And additionally, you're probably better at math than you think you are. I always thought of myself as being absolutely terrible. And then I met some people who like literally couldn't do addition. So like, you know, a lot of this stuff isn't as complicated as you think it is. And a lot of it is just finding out how you can get into that room. So please, if you are, again, someone who's intensely creative, somebody who loves online culture or the internet or technology, don't hesitate. Just go for it. There is so much out there and you have so much that you are capable of. You have so much that you can do and accomplish that you never thought you could. And I am fully confident that you are going to really rock. So please, please, please get out of your own heads. Take a risk, try something new, put yourself in uncomfortable situations. You can live an incredibly creative life and still make money. I firmly believe that. And if you are surrounded by people who are telling you like you're never gonna make it, you know, on one hand, I feel like if you're doing things the old way of doing it, you know, a lot of my career in comedy, I wanted to do it exactly like Amy Poehler and Tina Fey did. You know, I wanted to go to the comedy classes. I wanted to be on like Second City, UCB, main stage, and then, you know, have SNL find me. I spent a lot of time focusing on that. And I did make my own web series and I did write scripts and stuff, but I knew that YouTube was going to be big. I knew that these platforms were going to be big, but I immediately wrote those off as being, that's something that internet people are going to do. That's not something that a future showrunner is going to do. And look at who is getting the shows now, the people who actually did the work online and made shows and got people who fell in love with them, you know. Broad City, Issa Rae, so many people. So don't hesitate. Do it. I believe in you. You got this. Thank you so much, guys. Oh my god. This was a pretty dramatic video. If you like this, please like and subscribe. Tell me in the comments if you like this more than my like generic advice things. That was just like really fun to film. I had so much fun. Did you have fun? I hope you did. I hope this made you feel better. I spent so much time being so negative, and it's only been in the last 3 years that I feel like I've had a really big shift in my mindset. I mean, obviously I like still struggle with mental health things, don't we all, during this global pandemic, but I also feel so much more optimistic and confident in my own potential future than I ever did before. And I hope you do too someday. All right, thanks everybody. Bye.